Hello, everyone. Welcome. And today we're going to be having a X-Men conversation about family. And I have with me today the wonderful Komal. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Um, well, I guess just to begin with, if you are listening right now and you have no idea what we're talking about, X-Men are often people who have been labeled with disabilities such as ADD, ADHD, OCD, and autism, but they're also those that have not been diagnosed with any disability, but are just different and have never really fit in anywhere. And we're talking about family today because it's also one of the areas where a lot of X-Men think that they should fit, but they don't really fit. And so we hope to get a little bit more clarity today in, how do you actually function with your family when you're an X-Men? So, Connell, did you have some questions?
Yeah, because I just shared how I sort of came why I wanted to talk about this is because I think what I recently realized is like my mom is a little autistic, and for the longest I had sort of not acknowledged that, or they expected certain things out of her. And now that I'm reading the curriculum of X-Men and getting more clarity for myself, I'm realizing how they and the people I live with are also different in their own ways. And that has relaxed me a lot. So I just want to ask, can you talk about this?
Yeah, so one of the things that you would probably recognize if you have, like, if you're an X-Men, or if you have X-Men in your family, is that there would be a different way of communicating. So, like, a lot of you as X-Men when you grew up, you could put, like, different ideas in your parents' heads. So if you wanted something, you would put it in their head, they would pick it up, and more often than not, they would deliver it to you. And so a lot of us have this ability, for lack of a better term, this psychic ability. And what that generally creates for an X-Men when they're received in that way is like a sense of relaxation. When an X-Men is not actually received, like, for the energetic, telepathic communication they have available, that's often when they will be like the most disturbed or cause the most trouble, and basically not be very fun to deal with. So that's a really big thing to get as well. Like, if you have an X-Men kid in your family and they're throwing, tantrums often, it's probably like 90% of the time it's something that they're communicating that isn't being received. Okay. And so you want to ask, okay, so what is this and how can I get this in a different way? Because if you're not currently receiving it, it just means you need to be in question about how you can receive it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's pretty much what's. And also, it's because family is such a solid structure sort of a thing, and but
Not in India. I don't believe it. Family is everything in India and pretty much everywhere around the world.
yeah. So I'm just, and I mean, also like anything, any tools, simple tools that people can start using. I know this was a great way, that you sort of told us about, like kids and parents, but anything else that can make it easier for X-Men to just be themselves in their family also, like.
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny. I was just like recently in India for an X-Men class, and I loved like seeing a whole family on a motorcycle, for example. It's like that you don't see that anywhere else in the world. But yeah, so one of the things that you want to recognize about your family is that you chose your family, and kids come in knowing the future of what will be for at least 10 to 15 years into the future. Okay. So you as an X-Men, you have access to the past, the present, and the future in a really different way. And so you're aware of the future of what was going to occur by your choice to have those people as your family. Okay. And so what you want to also get is that you chose that family because you knew that they would not require of you to be the one thing that you knew that you wanted to be. And they would not they would not try and stop you, but they would also not encourage you. Okay. So basically, you chose that family so that you could choose to do whatever you want because you wanted to do whatever you want. So if you really look at it, you chose your family for a reason. And what did you choose your family for?
Yeah, I think I get that, like, being wanting to do whatever I want to do. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Well, as you know, as the people that are different in the world, we're fiercely, independent. And so, you know, we don't like to be in a situation where we can't get out or we can't choose something different. We always like to have a different possibility available or a different choice available. And if you really do look at your family, no matter what you've created, you've always had a different choice available. Some people will live and die by their family. Most often than not, X-Men will not do that because X-Men also have a little bit of a different way of functioning in that they are able to see more of what is rather than the all of the like thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Okay, often for an X-Men, the thoughts, feelings, and the emotions are not actually as real and true as they are for everyone else. So when you look at a lot of people where the way that they function with their family, it's all based on thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And then you'll have the one weirdo, X-Men that's like, I just don't get it, guys. Like, what are you talking about? This doesn't make sense to me. So that's often the place where, X-Men will isolate themselves, but they don't need to. They just need to acknowledge that they're different and that often that your family will require different things of you and you can provide them and you can be them without cutting you any part of you off.
And I mean, also, you want to share, like, what's coming up is, do you want to share something from your childhood, or like how you dealt with your family, or anything, or how you are now currently? That
Well, I mean, I grew up mainly like with my mum, and I love my mum and adore my mum, and you know, I had a lot of that freedom. Basically, I was able to go and do whatever I wanted. I was very independent. I learned to sort of look after myself at um, you know to the best of my ability at quite a young age, and I actually like left home before school finished and finished my studies like living elsewhere. So I think for me the choice of my family was really to be independent and to learn how to create my life from a pretty young age. So yeah, I'm super grateful for that experience. And also, like today, I can have conversations with my mum about, being aware of different things. And, that's not something that everyone has with their family. So, yeah.
and we're also having a 2 day disabilities and abilities. Like, if this conversation was of any use or any, or gave you something, then I would also like to, if you can talk about the 2 day disabilities and abilities class that is coming up online and what it can open up for people.
Yeah, well, it's funny because actually, we just did a 2-day class in Mumbai in India, and one of the ladies there, who is a principal of a school, she messaged me and said, one of the things she was asking about in the class was, how do I have my son like watching and playing video games less? And we did some stuff around it, and she messaged me just the other day saying he went from watching and playing games 14 hours a day to now, like, only 3 to 4 hours a day. And it's one of the things that a lot of people ask about. And that's just one example of one thing that these classes can change. But um, basically, what I love about these classes is most people come to them thinking that, they're fucked up and there's something terribly wrong with them. And they find out that actually what they thought was the most messed up about them is actually what's, right about them, what's their capacity. So, people come sort of a little bit unsure about themselves, and usually they leave laughing a whole lot more, enjoying themselves a whole lot more, and hopefully actually using the difference that they are to, create their life as well. So yeah, that's my target with the X-Men classes.
And I'd like to add to that, the kid didn't even attend the class. It was the mom who was there the whole time. So that's pretty cool, like what it created.
Yeah, that's true. You don't often, your kids will like get you to go and attend the class so that they can get the change. So, but you're welcome to bring your kids to the class. And if you also are one of those people that are like, I'm not an X-Men, pretty much everyone who's had that point of view and has come and had a class was like, by the end of it, oh my God, I didn't know I was an X-Men. So if you're thinking you're not one, you probably are one.
Yeah, that's great. I would like to share, like, I the class changed everything for me, and it's so cool, like how energetic we are, and that is the invitation. So I'll be putting all the details in the description, and you guys are most invited. We're having one coming up online, and you can join us pretty much anywhere from in the world, and that's even more exciting.
Yep, you just need internet and a device.
Yes.
You don't have to have clothes. Clothes are optional, so it has it get any better than that.
Great. Thank you, Sil, for your time. Anything
Thank
else?
you so much. Bye, everyone.